Ah, you're here with Amelia Berry, aka Am Amelia, aka DJ Amelia Worm, aka The Foreman Project, um, aka Amelia Discreet. I gotta keep building up AKAs. I haven't got a new AKA in flipping ages. This is another Bananamelia track breakdown. We're talking about the final track on side A, track 4, Colourbox. I was trying to figure out why it's called Colourbox, and in my head it was a track track title that I had stolen from like a Sid Barrett era Pink Floyd song. And then when I went to check that, I saw that track was called Paintbox. And so I thought, what is a Colourbox? There's apparently a band called Colourbox that I was kind of unaware of. So, I don't know. I imagine in my mind a Colourbox is like the same as a paint box. For some reason, Colourbox sounds really nice to me. Although I wouldn't imagine appending box to most things makes them sound nice. But yeah, I mean, there's the first line is what's your favorite color? So, yeah. I mean, some titles just end up being like first thought, best thought, you know. But this is a track that has been kind of floating around since like 2014. It was going to be, I think, written to be a kind of like a song for my band Polyester when we were listening to a lot of like Margot Guryan and the Cardigans and stuff like that. But it never really got finished. And also I was starting to get into producing electronic music in a very kind of basic way at the time. And I believe I tried to make it into a Hannah Diamond track, which did not work out in the slightest. You can see I've not gone in that direction here. But here we are. It's, I think, my favourite track on the record. And it means a lot to me that it got finished because it kind of lived in my head for like, you know, a very long time. And then I finally got to kind of like write the chorus and fix the chord progression and finish it off here. If you can see for the intro, it's basically just a modified version of that same chord progression from Seshik, with the addition of this little extra note, and then there's a different little extra note here that goes down. But it's kind of so recontextualized, you wouldn't really think of it as being like but it is that. It's not even in a different not even in a different tempo or BPM. It is that, and it's being our little intro. I say little, our extremely long intro. So yeah, weirdly when I started making this track, I had thought that the record was going to be 10 tracks. And so this would be the second to last song on side A. Which is bananas to me now, because obviously it's the last track. It feels so much like the last track. And it also brings in all of these elements from the start. I mean, Bossa has been, this like little Bossa Nova CR78 break has been in everything. But the bell is back from the first track. And the string is playing this like big pedal like it was kind of doing in the first track. And it has basically used like every break. But yeah, for whatever reason, I still thought there should be another track after this. But turns out you can't have 10 tracks on a vinyl LP if like half your track's like 6 minutes long. Because the sides need to be 20 minutes. So I was like looking at it and I was like, well, I guess this is the end of side 1. Sorry, I should have given this bit more gravitas. Here we go. We're coming into the meat of the song. We've had our long build up, layering in new instruments, vamping on these 2 chords. Where are we going?
What's your favorite color? just realized that I know so little about you. What's your favorite thing to do on a wet Sunday in June? Some cloudy morning when the sun hangs low and the wind ripples through the awning.
All right, so how does this bit work? Well, we've got Maddie's lead vocal, the wonderful Madison von Staden, my partner in life and music. Actually, since I started recording these videos, we got married. So this is my beautiful wife, Maddie, singing the lead, and you can hear that the vocal is like edited in a slightly weird way. I think it's in this bit here.
I've just realized that I know so little.
Yeah, there's like two. There's I know
so.
and that was just because. So I was kind of like, I'm very finicky about the timing, about the I don't want a vocal to be like hard auto-tuned in tune. That's not me. I hate that sound. But I really love a vocal to be very on time. And so I often will edit phrasing to be very on time. And part of the kind of like flat digital MIDI thing of this record is that I made some of the edits a bit janky, like on purpose. I think there might be like 3 people ever who have listened to that and been like, that's a weird, why is the edit of the vocal like that? But to me, it's like, I don't know, the whole kind of point of the record is this like combo of like sweet pastoral strings and piano, but it all being very like flat and digital. And so having beautiful Maddie come in and then
I've just realized that I know so little.
And then she's like briefly kind of like a robot. Like, I mean, I guess I could have done it with like a glitch, you know, one of those like, and at the end this track gets very glitchy, but I think just that like subtle thing is quite nice. So Maddie has bass under her, the big sine wave Akai test tone bass, just more or less outlining the chords. I think it does. You all definitely can't hear that if you're listening on it. If you're listening on speakers, you probably need really good headphones to be able to hear that at all. The bass is not like a big feature of this track, but it does do a little bit of kind of like dum 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 dum, some kind of like lead in little extra notes. But the main thing is this piano. With this kind of like descending top line, kind of, and the kind of slowly kind of up and down bass, kind of making it like more claustrophobic and tense. Like the harmony gets closer and closer together as you get towards the end of the phrase.
I've just realized that I know so little about you.
So Maddie was recorded in a very bad, like a not a very well treated room. It was like our bedroom. There was this huge like room in this old villa that was all like wood, and so there's a lot of like in the vocal. So you can see I spent I wasn't that good at it. So instead of doing just like a high boost, I was like, nah, we're doing a big cut. And me trying to get out a lot of like woofiness from the room, going through my favorite saturator, head crusher, going through this probably my favorite compressor now. I think when I was making this record, I was using Analog Obsession LA more, but this I like a lot. Leveling tool, really nice compressor. free, and this free convolution reverb. So convolution reverb basically like. Can I explain a convolution reverb in this video? Is that within the scope? Basically, you like send out a pulse into a space or into like a digital reverb, and then you record the result of that, and then this program can like reverse engineer that recording of that space to be a reverb again. Yeah, that's basically it. So it's kind of like uses these like processed audio signals to model spaces or things, and I just think it sounds nice. So what else have we got? And then we've got Hannah. So Hannah Rennick very kindly did backing vocals on this track. So
What's your favorite thing to do?
so Hannah just recorded these like by herself. I just said like, here's the track. Can you double these bits, and then if you want, do whatever you want in these other bits. So there's a double here, and then I believe this is a harmony. Yeah.
When the sun hangs low and the wind ripples through the awning.
It really adds a lot, I think. I think this I'm so happy with what Hannah did there. It's incredible, and I think it adds a real magic to that end of the verse. And the reason for getting Hannah to double it instead of getting Maddie to do it is that I don't really like the sound of doubled vocals heaps. I don't know. For some things, it's very like, that's the sound. It's like, you listen to Belle and Sebastian and all the vocals are like doubled, basically. But I like a very kind of clean, in your face. Everyone who sings for me gets mad that I leave their voice so clean. But that's what I really like. Probably listen to too much bloody like English folk music. But having someone else double it gets you that like thickening effect without the very specific sound of having the same person singing the same thing twice, which I don't love. Sorry, we're going to talk more about the verse because it's very like a lot of the rest of the track is just grooving out, but this is very kind of like intentionally structured. We're almost there, guys. So it's just Maddie and the piano, and then the bell comes in, as well as a little bit of drums, and the bell is doubling the melody, and then it hands it off to the strings, and we add in the harmony. And then the actual drums come in. And then we get the bell back. We've got the bell and the strings now. And then we've also got the bass being a little bit more propulsive. You can see it's playing like a rhythm now. And so, I mean, that's why it's my favorite track on the record, because like other tracks like say Chic or, French Press, they've got rises, they've got little effects, they've got filter sweeps and stuff. This one is like the purest expression of what I wanted to do on the record, which is like making an electronic music track interesting without using any of the like tricks of electronic music. This is just like layering very simply processed and kind of like flat sounding elements, like the piano, the strings, and the bell. They're just kind of coming in and out. Like there's no everything is just done through the like, you know, the note choice and the arrangement, and that is like what I wanted to do with the record. And I think mostly, it's not like I'm not happy with the other tracks, but most of the other tracks do a bunch of tricks, and this one doesn't. It's just the song. So of course we've got the Soul Pride break, the most annoying break to cut, but it's so jazzy and fun, you can't really go past it. And up here we have my favourite sound in music. If I could have this in every track ever, I would. It's this is my Italian Gene Essex 1000, the poor man's Moog, playing like a very low sawtooth wave with like a big resonant filter coming down on it. And this is like my favorite sound ever. I think there's like a Bowie track on low that has like much more dramatic than this, like bow. And I always was like, that's the coolest shit I ever heard. And I kind of thought every synthesizer could do that. Now that I don't just have a couple of very cheap synthesizers, I've got a couple of kind of nicer synthesizers. I'm like, oh, you kind of need the right guy for this job. An ARP will not do this in a nice way, but the Synthetone does it quite cool. What happens next? What happens next in this song? Oh, we go out of being jazzy into more of like a straight beat. That's right. So a lot of how this track is arranged, and this is going to sound kind of galaxy brain bonkers, but I love Busby Berkeley films, the kind of like musicals from the 30s that are like have the big top-down shot of everyone swimming in the pool or dancing on the spinning record, and the music in those movies, it'll be like 9 minutes of this like Tin Pan Alley song, and it needs to be 9 minutes because they need to do all this crazy dancing. But how do you like facilitate 9 minutes of like material without just like inventing a whole bunch of stuff? How do you make it like recognizably the same track throughout? Well, kind of related to what I was saying before, with most electronic music, you have like evolving elements. You have like filters opening and closing. You have stuff kind of like slowly changing. You have a lot of like, modulation and drop in and drop outs. And I was like, I'm gonna do this like a Busby like a Busby Berkeley track, and I'm gonna hand off the melody between everybody over and over again, and like for as long as I possibly can. So I'm trying to use like as few kind of like musical motifs as possible and keep the track going as long as I possibly can. So I think I was like more or less successful. This bit's kind of like back to the intro, but we've got like this new drum situation. So we got the Think, and then we got this guy bringing in kind of more low end, and obviously got an Amen getting real tough here. And this is basically like just note for note. This is like copy pasted the intro, but with the big wow synth on it. This is where they would all be like swimming out of the water, doing the thing where they come put their face towards the camera and do a big smile. So this is basically like a reharmonization of that melody played on more Gene Essex 1000 synths, and I've never managed to get another synth to make a flute sound like this. There's something very particular about, because it's done with a pulse width modulation. So you have a pulse wave as your oscillator, and then you modulate the width of it to kind of do the like tremulous sound of a flute. And no other synth has managed to get it sounding quite like this. It's very like Mellotron like. I don't know what it is about the synthetone, but it'll do it. And then this very high saw lead through a big reverb playing the chorus under these like weird descending flute things, doing kind of like a very weird melody. I didn't like work that out as chords. I just wrote each voice. It just plays the chorus melody in full. Let's listen to how it all sounds all together. Hands off the melody to the bell. And the chord progression for the chorus is quite cool. It has this massive high E kind of like held note over the top right until the end. I think this is my best like break cut on the whole record, is this little turnaround or the think break. And Maddie and Hannah are back. Accidental loop. So I'm pretty sure this is the same cut of Soul Fright as before, but I've recut the think to double like exactly what it's doing, which makes it a lot busier, especially with this. And if I remember correctly, the flute synth is just playing octaves of the melody. God, it's very austere by itself, isn't it? It does sound like it's funny how like both this and the wow are very much like elements from David Bowie's Low, like the B-side where it's all kind of like Mellotron and Moog, but it doesn't really sound like that in context. He didn't have the think break, so. So what have I done? What have I done here? So basically the piano and the string for this outro have this PCM 2612 retro decimator unit, which is basically a bit crusher, and they have it automated so it just gets like more and more bit crushed as it goes on. So by itself, the stepping sounds a bit weird, but I think like together it sounds quite cool, and especially in combo with this like weird stuttering cut of Soul Pride that I've done. So it goes to like half time and half pitch over here. And then this will be a different kind of warping. So usually it's like pitch and time. So the speed dictates the pitch as well. But this one will be like they cut it up into grains in order to repitch it, and I will have just done a very dramatic. The version of that. And the Think has this weird little echo, this little I didn't even know that was there until I started doing this archiving project. I totally forgot there's a but I think otherwise this doesn't sound messed up enough. Yeah, and there's Colourbox living my best Busby Berkeley dreams.